Hello everyone and welcome to Ask the Kabbalist. With me, as always, is Kabbalist Dr. Michael Leitman. Hello, Dr. Leitman. Let's start with the first question right away. This is a video question that is coming from Ramon from San Diego. Let's watch it.
My name is Ramon Velarde. I'm from San Diego, California. I'd like to ask the Kabbalist whether the potential discovery of other, non-human intelligent life forms would displace the Kabbalistic belief that man is at the center of creation. Thank you.
No.
No.
No. How come? Because we see the whole of reality, and we know that besides the still vegetative animate and man, there is nothing in the whole of the universe, in the entire universe, and regardless of how much we'll search, we'll find out that it's truly so. There are different forms, possibly the very primitive life forms like spores, like these barely living degrees, not on a living degree like the vegetative, or slightly alive.
Yeah, that they're discovering some emissions of methane gas on Mars, which imply that there are some creatures there.
Yeah, exactly. That's very right. That's possible. But not such forms of life that have the ability to come out of our degree, from our world, into a higher world, beyond all the cosmos, beyond the universe, to a different degree of existence. Our whole existence, our entire universe, is merely a very small place, as large as it seems, but it was made out of a very small and limited place. A spark broke through from a higher degree, from a higher world, the Big Bang, and started building out of that whole small place with that energy. It started building here all the forms of life and existence that we have now. So we have to understand that which exists in our universe, including us and all that we have on Earth, and in general, among all these stars and the galaxies. It's merely a result of a tiny spark of light coming from a higher degree. And this whole place that seems to us infinite, and all this life and these distances, and this whole tremendous picture that we see, all in all, it's because we're built that way, so it seems to us as something big. But when you look at it from a different point of view, from a different angle, you suddenly see that it's something very small, limited, and there's nothing about it. But the ability for all those small, tiny living creatures living in that small circle to come out above that circle and exist on a higher level.
I have to ask you, how do you know that there will not be a discovery of new life forms, intelligent life forms?
Because I know the entire plan of the upper force, of the higher degree. And all that's on our degree, it all comes from a higher degree. And so we have degrees over degrees over degrees up to the final degree, the whole and perfect degree. Thus, we needn't reach that final degree, but if I lift, I rise 1 degree higher than what we have here, I already know what comes to our degree from that degree. And thus, like those powers of the still vegetative animate and man come down from there and make in our universe, in our world, on Earth, all the living forms, that's all that there will be. There is no other place for it to come from, only from a higher degree. And because I know the higher degree, I can confidently say that.
You understand that you're upsetting a lot of scientists now. This is their whole life, perhaps. They're dedicating their lives.
God forbid.
And NASA.
No. I myself also consider myself to be a scientist, only that every scientist and every science have a limit. There are certain instruments, tools by which they research reality. Scientists in our world, how do they research reality? Through their 5 senses and instruments that extend the range of these 5 senses, and through their nature. This nature, it works only through absorptions, the will to receive, and they can't sense more than what they feel. They can't feel that which is above the speed of light. They can't feel that which is above time. They're limited in general by the place where they are. They don't think and they can't discover that this place is not an unlimited one. Meaning, we, in our world, the way we're built, the way we're created, we are limited. We're restricted, and thus we have no choice. As a result, we research through our own qualities, attributes, and the instruments that we build. We research our world, and as a result, we have science. The wisdom of Kabbalah, it says, look, first of all, let's give you new tools. In addition to the tools you were born with.
What new tools?
These tools are not that you absorb all the information inwards and connect them according to your brain and logic through absorption, egoistically, but you come out of yourself and you try to see and feel through external vessels.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying. In our world, there's no such possibility, but we can use the power of nature that exists in nature, which inverts our attitude. And when our paradigm entirely changes into the very opposite, from the introverted to the extroverted perception of reality, suddenly we find out that the same as if you're on a different frequency, you get on a different frequency and you see from a different angle. You suddenly find out that through our world, you can see the next reality. You know, it's like in such a, there are these pictures,
stereograms,
pictures. Yeah.
Holographic 3D images.
When you look, and as if there is...
it looks like a chaotic 2D pattern, and then you focus.
It looks like a flat picture, but behind it you see it's a 3D picture, and there inside you have a perspective. So the same here. Our world seems 3D. But the truth is that from it and on, there is a breakthrough into an entirely different dimension, and that's what we have to go into, and we'll see what stands behind it. Because that which stands behind it is the system which in the meantime presents us with this picture. Our picture, the one we live in, that's how we know ourselves, the way it is presented to us, and also the environment, everything around us. It's all like a holographic depiction, what I feel now. And I merely have to understand where does it all come from? Where is the system which presents life to me the way it does in my environment? And then I'll know and see what happens then.
Sounds like a good theme for a Hollywood motion picture.
Sure.
But how real is it? I mean, how can I do it? How can I defocus my current perception and refocus it? How do you do that?
Only on condition that we'll distance ourselves from what we are now and see our situation from the side. Only in that case can we see what's real, what's not, and start researching these two forms, one against the other. In the meantime, while we live in one small state, we don't know anything. Imagine if you ask a kindergarten child, or people who live on some deserted island and they know nothing. What is the world? They would have told you only about what they know, and that's it. The same with us. We think that our entire world is what we see, is what we discover. Well, we'll discover a bit more, but just a bit, and that's it.
Okay, I'm open-minded. I trust your words. What do I do? How do I attain that?
No, this is something different. First of all, it's not simply so. There are people in our world who discover that they need to know where life comes from. Where are we from? What are we for? They have to know what's happening to us. Why are we living here? What is the reality that stands behind us? And then those people, they come to the wisdom of Kabbalah because they can't calm themselves down by any other science or any other method. They go to New Age, mysticisms, and science, but nevertheless, they come out dissatisfied. And then As a result of the dissatisfaction, they come to the wisdom of Kabbalah. And here they start studying, like in any other science, but it is a science that changes the person himself. It gives a person a new perception, a different perception, in addition to the one that we sense through our 5 bodily senses.
Okay, so you recommend anyone who feels that desire to simply start studying and gradually he will feel a change?
I'm sure that he'll come. I'm sure that he'll come sooner or later for sure. He'll come to study with us.
Okay, let's move on to some more questions. This is another question that is coming from Australia. It's a video question coming from Anita from Australia. Let's watch it.
Hi, my name's Anita. I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I want to know, why can't we be on vacation all the time? Why do we have to work for?
Why can't we be on vacation? What's the whole purpose of working in this world? I agree with her, I gotta tell you.
She looks like a very optimistic person wanting to enjoy life.
In Australia, I don't think they work that much anyway in Australia.
What can I say? Of course, well, maybe it's good to be on constant vacation, but who will provide her with all her needs? That's the question. We're built so in our world that besides the still, any developing and living thing, it's changes inside it, it has changes. So it needs to get energy from the outside. Either it's plants or the living degree or the degree of man. And accordingly, we need to be provided with lots of things. Who'll provide us? Well, if I'm a king and I was born, then okay. So there are many people working for me, and I can be on vacation all life long. But if I'm an ordinary person, then someone has to provide me with that. Why would he do that? He'd also want to be on vacation like anyone else, meaning we have to organize our lives such. She's mostly right. But we have to make our lives such that we won't need much. But for our life to be such that we'll provide ourselves with normal things, and only that. And if we'll do that all over the world, then we'll reach a state where everyone will work a little, say 2 hours a day, even less than that.
Yeah, this sounds better.
You see, because 90% of what we manufacture, these are things we don't need. And if we really want to take into account what do I have to do in order to have the necessary things, and so that the rest of the time I'll be free, on vacation, like the lovely lady says. So why wouldn't we do that? She's right. Then ecology, the relations between us, the kids, everything will be great. We'll be healthier, no traffic jams, all this pollution. Why not? I agree with her. Only what? We have to make the right calculation that I need to do a little in order to provide myself with necessities, or someone else will have to do it. How come? But the attitude is correct. We can be on vacation plenty of hours. When I was young, then in the school, I remember the teacher, she told me, when you'll become a grown-up, you'll work, not like your parents, 8 hours, you'll work 4 hours, and you'll have everything. Because through technology and everything that the world is coming into now, all this new technology, that's what we'll do. And people will feel great and have it good. And then you'll go fishing, you'll go to the ocean, you'll go play tennis and have a good time. You want music, you want to write books, please go ahead. You can do anything you want. I grew up, and today I'm already old, and I can't tell that to my grandchildren. I can't tell that to my grandchildren. Back then, we thought that that's how we're going to be. Smart, why not? We'll make a good world. Really, like she says, we'll achieve freedom. And today, we see that that's not how it is.
People today are working 10, 12 hours a day on a regular basis. This is a really...
Plus 2-3 hours in traffic, and that's how it is.
There is even, it's interesting, there's workplaces, like Google, for instance. I heard that they keep their workers inside the same place. They provide them with everything they need to not leave the workplace, basically.
That's slavery, I think. Slavery. Because merely people live in order to work, and that company keeps them as slaves. Although these are modern slaves with all the good conditions and everything, but all in all, slavery. The Japanese started doing it 50 years ago. That's not the solution. You are holding a person egoistically in a sophisticated, cunning, egoistic way in order to get out of him as much use as possible.
But you're giving him all he needs, on the other hand.
True, but does he feel himself free?
That's a question.
She says, I give 2 hours a day, or let's say a day a week. From morning till night, all the rest of the weekdays I do whatever I feel like. If we're smart, we'll be able to reach that. How? We simply have to restrain our ego.
How does it have to do with our ego, though?
Because our ego constantly pushes us to work more, earn more and more and more and more and more, and then we're like in a wheel, and we're turning that way all the time. And suppose there was this kind of a pill, medicine. I take that pill, and I calm myself down. I'm content that I have something to eat, a bed, a house, nice house with a family, a vacation, a pension, everything, but normally. You know, in a normal fashion, and that's it. I don't want more than that. Even if they tell me, come a bit more, another hour, 2 hours, it's better, you'll get a bonus. No, I don't want anything. Were we to give each one such a pill, how much better our world would be.
Maybe, but it sounds, you know,
Why do we run around? Then we would run in direction of culture, education, in the direction of opera, of movies, something that for a person to develop himself. Why do we need money, 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 money? What is it about it for each one to have more and more in the bank? It's an illusion. It's only in order to calm down the ego. Everything I consume above normality, it's also unhealthy. Meaning that our problem is our ego. We have to find the solution as to how do we bring it down to a level where it becomes helpful, aidful, where it truly helps us build the right life. And that is what the wisdom of Kabbalah helps with. It adds to our ego, on the one hand, also the attribute of bestowal and love of others. And then we're in between the two. And then, when we combine the two, on the one hand the power of reception, on the other hand the power of giving, we know how to harmoniously, nicely organize the whole of human society, and then all of us will feel good, and the young lady will be on vacation.
You know, I wouldn't have a problem with wanting less by nature, but if I already want something, limiting myself just sounds hard. It sounds...
You won't want more. You'll feel that these things, they're harmful to you. They're harmful for you. Suppose just now I ate lunch. That's it. How much can you eat? No, for me to have money for 1,000 more lunches. What for?
Yes, why not? To be confident, to be secure that I know...
No. There's no confidence about it. It doesn't give you any confidence. That's untrue. Because if you know that that's how the whole world is built, and everyone has what he needs, and the whole of society is organized such for everyone to have what he needs, that's the confidence, that's security. Otherwise, you have no security. Tomorrow, the stock exchange falls, something happens, the Dow Jones falls, and what happens with all your savings?
So
The most certain thing is a balanced, corrected society where everyone lives, where no one needs more than the normal, ordinary life. But development, yes. I'm not telling people that they have to be like robots, like animals. No. You develop, but you develop in your internality and not in the externality.
It's still hard. I don't understand how I can give up saving money. This is what you're saying.
You simply show everyone how much we'll have to yet suffer until we'll build such a good, nice society.
No, but because I'll tell you why. Because it sounds very far. It sounds very far from reality. You hear this concept, and it sounds great on the one hand, but it sounds utopian on the other hand.
Tell me. Utopia, yes, I agree with you. But now that the global world is revealed and the reciprocal connection between us and that we're entirely interconnected and that we're bringing Earth to an end with all of its ecology and its resources, doesn't it mean that finally we have to kind of start organizing our lives? Earth can sustain us all. But what's going on? Half the population is starving to death.
No, the global crisis is escalating, that's for sure.
It all shows you what I'm telling you. These are necessary things that we must do in order to keep the equilibrium, the ecology, the connection between us, the right society, the right financial connections. I'm telling you things that must exist, must take place, that today we can achieve that and put it all into place and correctly organize it. You're calling that utopia. But the way I see it, it's not utopia. It's something that we must do, that people used to think in the past that maybe we'll build. Why did they feel like that? Today they don't feel like that. Today, nature starts presenting that picture to us and tells us whether you want it or not, you must come to that. So it's no longer utopia for me, but it's something essential, necessary, otherwise I'll cease to exist.
It's okay. Let's hope that we feel it as a necessity, because
thus the wisdom of Kabbalah is revealed precisely at our times. And it wrote about it 2,000 years ago and even more. And it says that because now the world finally starts understanding what it came to through the egoistic development, through this unorganized and unlimited development, now maybe the world will understand that by the wisdom of Kabbalah there is the opportunity to organize the right kind of life. If not, we'll have to develop further on egoistically, get a few more blows, and nonetheless we'll achieve that necessity. So I hope that nonetheless that lovely lady has a chance to be on vacation.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Leitman, for being with us and giving us a hope for a new world. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next show. All the best.